Okay, I am going to share, I'm going to continue making over this little stool that I shared yesterday. I do have a cold, so bear with me in my funny voice. But what I wanted to share is, so yesterday when I took off that, whatever, carpet or whatever that thing was, there was a ton of nail holes that I showed you guys. And obviously it was from something else other than what I took off yesterday. So something had recovered it before that, and that's where all the nail holes were from. There were so many that I definitely needed to cover them. And so I used this brown, hang on one second, it's starting to rain and I need to go shut the porch windows or have Landon. Hey Landon, I'm live right now. Can you go shut the porch windows? It's starting to rain. Thank you. Times like that when I'm grateful that for his college schedule, he's actually home and can go do that quick. Anyway, okay. So I needed to fill these holes, and this is the stuff. It's called mud. I linked it in the description. You guys, if you are flipping furniture, this needs to be in your little stash of supplies to use. It comes in white, brown, and black. I usually use the white. That's just what I have on hand, but I did have the brown on hand, so I used that. There was actually a line around the entire stool as well. And the holes were actually inside a lot of these lines, if that makes sense. The holes from like upholstery tacks or whatever they were. I don't know. So I went ahead and just filled this line with this mud. This stuff, it works amazing. You obviously need it to dry. And so I was trying to figure out how to do this live without just sitting here and twiddling our thumbs and waiting for it to dry so then I could sand it. So I just went ahead and filled. And all I do, to be completely honest, depending on what I'm filling. So I use this mud for veneer when it's not, like you need to fill veneer on pieces of furniture, depending on if it's not too far gone, blah, blah, blah. But I usually use this, just a small like paint spatula scraper thing to put it in there. But these were so small, you can definitely like just put a glove on and use your fingers to kind of put it in there. Now, one little tip I'm going to tell you is after you're like, let's say you're using your fingers or this tool, don't, spread this on and then dip in this again, if that makes sense. Just because you don't want if there's any dust or like wood splinters or something that came off on this, you don't want to put it back in the product. Does that make sense? This is a product you want to shut the lid when you're not using it because it will dry out. And this is something you do not want to rinse this out and have it go down your drain. So like if you're done with this, you definitely want to wipe it with like a paper towel or something. You don't want to clean it off in your sink just because it does harden. Like that's what the job of it is. So do not put that down your sink. So sometimes I will, depending on what I'm doing, I will put some of it like on just like a little plastic dish or something and then work with just that. So I'm not putting stuff back in here. So that's what I did. So I filled all the holes, as you can see here, with that. And then you want to wait for that to fully dry. You want that to harden and fully dry before you do anything else. And then you're going to come back and, let me just move this. I'm just using that sandpaper that I had here yesterday because it was working fine. I glopped it on here. Like I'm not pretty with this. It's forgiving. You don't have to be precise with it, but you can see here, I don't need it kind of in that area. So there's just a little bit extra. So you're just going to come through and sand it down. Now, if this was a huge like dresser, let's say, I would, again, depending on the size of the hole I'm filling or the veneer, I may grab, like my orbital sander or my Serve Prep sander and to sand it down. I would don't do that unless you've been flipping furniture and you kind of got a handle with your sander, because it can go a lot faster than you want it to, meaning it'll take all of the mud out, if that makes sense. And then you're like, what in the world? Just because those sanders can sometimes, the Serve Prep, not as much as an orbital sander, but I know it is an investment, one that'll pay for itself. I love that thing so much. But so you definitely want to be careful with that. So just use a hand. You have more control with your hand, so just use different sandpaper, handheld sand. You can get the sanding blocks and things, and then if the grit isn't taking it off, then just get a lower grit, and then it'll take it off. So I basically, yes. So I did that all the way around. I'm just making sure this is kind of smooth. And then you definitely want to wipe it up with a damp cloth. You can use a tack cloth if that's what you have on hand. I don't have any on hand at the moment. So you just want to make sure that you get all the dust, sanding dust off. You do not want to paint with that on there. Now, the rest of it, hang on, let's do this. Okay. The rest of it, you want to scuff sand. And I kind of talked about that yesterday. So again, this is working fine, so I'm just going to use it. You definitely, oh yeah, I should tell you, turn down if noises give you like goosebumps, kind of like fingernails on a chalkboard, this kind of does it. It's not a great noise. But anyway, you want to scuff sand the rest of this because you're painting it, right? Now, so I've done the rest of the legs. And you can see, just by that little bit of sanding, this is some of the mud too. But it definitely took off some of the finish. That's all you're looking for with a scuff sand. You're just trying to get it, for lack of a better term, like you want it, I was going to say porous. Like you want it so the paint, the primer, whatever you're using is going to adhere well. Again, you want to definitely clean off the sanding dust. And now if I were to distress this piece, I love how it's dark inside here. Now, what I said yesterday is you want to make sure that you've cleaned the dust out from these little crevices, because even if you distress it, you want the paint to be in here first. I get a lot of questions about distressing, and I don't do it all the time, but some pieces, I do, just depending on what it is. But if you're going to distress, you want the paint to go in there. You want to cover the piece first, and then you can go in and distress. And these little like divots and stuff in the legs, they're perfect places to distress. I kind of talked about that yesterday, so I wanted to reiterate it. But you definitely want to make sure that you clean in there so that the paint adheres first, and then you can go and distress later. Now, okay, yeah, that's ready. Now I'm going to share one of my favorite, this paint that I shared yesterday. Did I share this? These are so good for, all kinds of things, but storing things in them. These old Crocs, paintbrushes or kitchen tools, they're so pretty. I just love them. And when things are displayed like that, all organized, just makes things better, right? Okay. You guys, what I'm going to actually do here is I'm just going to clean up some of this sanding quick. So I just do not want this in my paint at all. Not that it's gonna like jump up and get in the paint. I just want to make sure that it is cleaned off. Sorry, just gonna, okay. Okay. So I am using the 3-in-1 paint that I talked about yesterday. I've talked about it before on this page, on Facebook, on my website, mycreativedays.com. If you are a beginner flipper, or if you've been flipping for a long time, this paint is for you. It has, I'm going to paint this in a white color, and of course the sunshine's going to do that. So this color is called White Cap, and it's got the primer, the paint, and the top coat all in one. Let me repeat that for anybody in the back. Primer, paint, top coat, all in this can right here. You don't need 3 separate cans. You don't have to worry about applying 3 separate products, nothing. It's all in this one can. This stuff is amazing. Okay, I just kind of saw some film there. So every time I open a new can of paint, or if I'm opening it, like I've already had this open and I shook it to, to like mix it, I always use what's in the lid first. You guys, there's a lot of paint in the lids. Little pieces like this, you'd be amazed at what I have done. Actually, I'm just gonna flip this and just kind of wipe this off here. I'm gonna have to stand up a little bit. And naturally, do you think I would have put paint clothes on? No. And I just put paint on my tripod here. I mean, listen, I'm not painting if I don't have it somewhere where it's not supposed to be. Just that's just the facts. So anyway, with this, I have shared a few times how to get rid of brush strokes. With this paint, you do not want to use the spray bottle that I've shared before. This is a self-leveling paint. You guys, it's like the best invention, I'm telling you. And so you don't want to use the spray bottle that I've shared many, many, many times before. This first coat, no matter what you're painting with, I mean, if you're painting a wall, if you're painting furniture, there's kind of a lot of excess here on top, so I'm just trying to get rid of that. It's not gonna look good. I've had people send me photos of their pieces, a dresser, a table, whatever it is, and they've got like the first coat on, and it looks like this, and they want to give up. And this is a process. It's not gonna look good after the first application of paint at all. You're just getting, can you see? Okay, you can see what I'm doing. I just want to turn this around while I can, before the legs are all painted. The first application, you just want to, and I can even fill those a little bit more, but I think I'm going to distress this. You're just trying to get it covered, right? But as you can see, that's one coat of white paint on a dark wood stool. The primer's in this, the paint's in it, and the top coat's in it. I will have to do a second coat. But it covers so well. I'm telling you. And I did link this, the 3-in-1 paint, in the description. So if you can't see it now, you will be able to see it when I get off here. So when you're painting here, you want to, even if you're going to distress it, get inside those little notches and make sure you get them covered. Invest in good paint brushes. When I started doing this more than 20 years ago, I swear every time I say that, it just makes me, I'm like, what? 20 years ago? Anyway, I would buy the cheapest paint brushes there were. And that was the biggest mistake, because in the end, I was wasting so much money because I was having to buy, replace them so quick, or I'd be painting like this and then all of the bristles would end up in the paint. So then I would have to, I wouldn't notice it right away, and then I'd go back in when it was dry, and then you'd pull that bristle off, and then it would show the paint underneath it, and it's like, now we're sanding again, and now we're, it's just, you save so much time, money, and effort if you just invest in some really good paint brushes. I do roll some pieces. Now this is something that, I mean, you could roll the top obviously, but there's so many curves and that this isn't a great piece to roll, but you can definitely use a roller. I get that question a lot. If you are more comfortable with a roller, when we are painting like rooms and things, Matt does all the rolling, I do all the trimming. It just works that way. He's better with a roller. I'm better. I'm gonna, since I don't have paint clothes on, I'm just gonna, I'll flip it over and get those other ends when I'm not here and when it dries a little bit. So then I will paint the underside of this stool as well. That's another question I get. Do you paint the back sides of dressers? Never. I never do. Or like the backside of like an entertainment center or a hutch. If I'm painting it, I do not paint the backs. But things like stools like this, I will definitely paint. Everything will be painted, if that makes sense. So the underside and everything. Trying to think. Oh, another question I recently got was, like on a dresser or a table where there's this lip, do you paint underneath that? Yes. Especially if you're flipping, for profit and you're selling it, you want that person when they pick it up and put it in their car, you don't want to leave this, the lip of the dresser or whatever it is unpainted because it just doesn't look very nice. It's not, I mean, you won't see it when it's just sitting there, but you want to make sure that you're doing a thorough job. And okay, so I will put on another coat of this. I'll flip it over once it dries, and I'll get the feet really well, and I'll get underneath. And the mud, let me just do this right here. Once I put on another coat, even some more of these like indents and stuff, they will get covered. But see, I'm doing what you shouldn't do. Don't do it. I'm just trying to rush for this live for you guys. Don't go over it like with a second coat until it's fully dry. Don't do that. See, I'm just showing you what not to do. Don't do that for sure, because you're just gonna pull paint, and then it's gonna look even worse than just what the initial coat would look like, and then you're just gonna get frustrated. So just don't do it. But furniture, it doesn't have to be, I think there's a misconception that it's got to take 4 days to flip a piece of furniture. I've flipped many pieces, and I'm talking like big pieces, in a couple hours. Like it doesn't have to be a long drawn out process, but definitely, you want it to dry between coats and things like that. You don't want to rush it. So my furniture flipping course is open right now. We're running a sale. It's just the course. There's nothing attached to it. It's going to teach you everything from start to finish. And I'm not talking about just like how to paint a piece of furniture, which is included, but I'm talking about if you're somebody that maybe you flipped a few pieces and you want to start growing now. You want to start working with brands. You want paint brands to pay you to post on your Instagram page. You want a paintbrush company to, pay you money to come on your Facebook page and show how you like the paintbrushes. When I started flipping furniture, I did it because I wanted to decorate our home. And our budget when we bought our first house was like nothing. There was no way our budget was going to let me go out and buy like all brand new furniture or like, no. And I didn't know that. I was excited. We moved into our first house the day after we got married. And so I was excited to, Matt had lived in an apartment before that. And so I was just excited to get in this house, and then we were going to go buy all new furniture and decorations. And, I had binders and binders full of stuff this was before Pinterest, that I just loved and I just wanted to do in this house. And then we went out shopping for it, and I'm like, there's no way. How are we going to pay for all this? So I had to get creative, and so I started flipping furniture for our home. And from there, it just started growing. I had friends and family asking to paint a piece, or I'd find a new piece, and so I'd sell the piece that we already had, and so it just snowballed. And then I started this whole blog thing because we bought this house and we started decorating it, and then friends and family would come over and they'd say, how did you do that? And you saved that much money and you didn't have to. And so I'm like, yes, this stuff is easy, but it's not easy for everybody. So I started this mycreativedays.com just to share our ideas and what we were doing. And I quickly found out and learned you can get paid to do the thing that you love to do. And so I wish I would have known everything that I put inside this course. I wish I would have known it all back then, because I wouldn't have had to learn it the hard way. And when I created this course, I wanted everything in there. So it's for anybody that just wants to learn how to paint. You know, like if you just want to learn how to paint a piece of furniture for your home, if you want to furnish your home on a dime, and flipping furniture is going to help you do that, it's for you. But it's also for those of you that maybe have sold a couple of pieces. You know you've got the knack for it. You know that you can see potential in pieces. Friends and family keep telling you, why aren't you doing this? You need to be selling more pieces. Those kinds of things. You can make money, obviously, flipping your furniture, but there's a whole nother side of it that I don't think people think about it. And it's changed our family's life. And so without me knowing, like I didn't know this was all possible. And so I wanted to add all of that inside this course as well, because I know it can do so much for other people as well. And so that's why I did it. And we open it up. Sometimes we have, we'll do bonuses with it. But now that school has started, I said, and yard sales, they're still going on here. It's just a good time to find cheap furniture. But so we just have the course open right now. It is on sale. There's nothing else attached to it. The link is in the description, but I want you, and you can take it whenever you want to. You don't have to consume the content right now. You can take it. I've had people take it with them on vacation. I've had people watching it on airplanes. I've had people watching it in car, road trips and all that kind of stuff. So you can take it whenever. You can take it 6 months from now. You have lifetime access. So that means if you buy it now, you don't consume it for 3 months. You can, but then let's say in 3 months, we added all new content. You will get all that new content as well. You have lifetime access to any of the changes we make. So it's a no-brainer. It's really inexpensive. The cost of what the course is right now, you can make it up in your first flip and then some. But if you have the knack to, you've done a few pieces, or you really think you could do this, stay-at-home moms are doing it to pay for certain things, or just to add to the family's budget. They want to go on more vacations, so this is what they do. I've had nurses and teachers quit their job, and they're doing this full-time. It's just crazy. It's exciting, and if I can help one person do it and be successful right from the get-go, it literally makes my day. So I wasn't planning on all that, but that's where the wind took me. So definitely check that out. Please share this video. I love it when you guys share. It helps me, but it also helps other people find the information and the projects I'm sharing and all of that. So okay, let's see if I can lift this. I'm sorry, I didn't even think about the white paint, because it does that glare thing with the sunshine, and it's a real cloudy, it's raining today. So if you can see, let's see. On the top here, this side is drying. It's not fully dry. This side is still wet. There are no brush marks on this side. It is a self-leveling paint. So that means, the other paints, do I have one here? I don't, sorry. I love all of their paint. I love all of their paint. But even not just their brand, like Wiesel paint, I love too. Some of it you need that continuous spray bottle to just help move the paint, because it's really kind of thick. This 3-in-1 paint, 3-in-1 primer, paint, top coat in one, it self-levens. So it's not self-levens. It's self-leveling. I don't know if self-levens then is right, but it's smooth. Sorry, I'm trying to get it so okay, there we go. So it kind of lays flat on its own. So when you're using this paint, when you put it on, you will see brush strokes, right? Unless you've got gobs and gobs, like I told you, I had too much here on the top, so I was trying to push it around and I was pushing it around the sides. You want to put your layers of paint on, so like my second coat, or if you need a third coat, whatever, you want to put them on in a thinner coat. You don't want to put thick coats of paint on just to cover it up and get the job done quicker. It's going to dry quick. It will dry quick when you put on the thinner coats. And then it's just your next coat is going to be so much better. But with this paint, I wish you could see this, and I know you can't because of from my view, me looking down on it like this way, I can totally see where it's drying, but it's like, it's self-leavened. So like there's no marks or anything in it. It's unbelievable. I love this stuff. So when anybody asks what paint should I go with, or especially if you're just starting out, do this, because then you don't have to worry about a primer and you don't have to worry about a top coat. Once you get this on, and however many coats you're going to use, then you're done. You are completely done. So you should sand between your coats. Yeah, this one doesn't have it on there, but like a fine grit. The higher the number grit sandpaper, the finer it is. The lower the number, the more coarse it is. So when you're sanding between coats of paint, 320. And it's like I'm not going to do this now, but it's like a quick, and you're done. And then put on your final coat. But yeah, this stuff is a game changer. So once I get this done, I haven't decided if I'm going to distress it or not. I will just post a photo on Facebook when I get it all done for you guys to see. But let me know if you have any questions. Do you have any questions about the course? Do you have any questions about, oh yeah, hang on one second. About any of this, please let me know. And here's another question I get. Here's a smaller one. How many ounces is this? 16, this is 8, right? Yeah, 8. So the paint comes in, well, I shouldn't say that. With this line, I know the regular line, it comes in different. You guys, this stool, something like this, this is all you would need. Definitely. As long as you do the prep work and everything right, you will maybe use half of this, depending on the wood underneath you're trying to cover, the color you're going to do. So this paint, it goes a long way. You will have this for a while. It's Dixie Belle. It's 3-in-1. It's their silk line. It is their silk line. I did link it in the description as well. So you'll see everything is up there. I think if you swipe left or right, I think you can see the description. I think somebody told me that. I'm not for certain. Hello in Florida. You guys, 58 is the high today here in Iowa. It makes me so happy. I know it doesn't make a lot of people happy, but 58 is my jam. Like sweatshirt weather is my favorite. I'm not a heat and humidity person. Okay, I'm just going through just to see. Gay, this paint is not Wise Owl. This is Dixie Belle, but Wise Owl is another paint that I use. Oh, did I freeze? Sorry, I don't think I had. Happy Friday from Spring Lake, Michigan. Spring Lake, where is Spring Lake? We go to South Haven area. It's one of our favorite places on the planet. We really want to find a place there. It's magical. We just love it there. Hello in California. I love seeing where you guys are at too. Okay. Yes, Teresa. Yep, and I left the link in the description, like I said, so you'll see it when I get off here. So I don't think there's any other questions. Check out the course link. Check out the supplies that I used here. I put the mud in there and I put the paint in there. share this video if you know somebody that could use it. I would love to see them inside the course and just take advantage of it right now while we have it open. But yeah, happy Friday, happy weekend. I have a clock that I'm gonna paint. I'll probably do that next week with you guys. I hope nobody gets angry about it, but it's gonna get painted. It doesn't work, but and it was an inexpensive find, but I'm gonna do that next week. So I will finish this and then I'll post a photo on Facebook. Okay, I think I got through all the questions. Have a great Friday and a great weekend, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon.